and welcome in to Your Health. And we are very honored today to have someone from the Montgomery Cancer Center, Susan Reed. And Susan, you have been there a long time. You are so experienced. What is your actual title?
So I am the administrator of the Montgomery Cancer Center, and I've been there since 2015. So I'm coming up on my 10th year with Montgomery Cancer Center.
This sweet woman does everything there is to do and knows everything there is to know, and God love you.
Oh.
And you know what, we're excited to have you today because we're going to talk about something that is so relevant to our audience. We have a lot of older people in our audience, and those of us, we get to be older and we think, gosh, you know, if I'm going to have something, I'd have already had it. But that is not true. So tell us a little something about cancer in older folks.
Sure. So as we age, it's important that we continue our screenings. One of the greatest risks associated with developing a cancer diagnosis is aging. Simply just being alive increases our risk of developing a cancer diagnosis. And so one thing we really promote and encourage our seniors is to listen to their own bodies and be thoughtful about their own health, and to continue their screenings well into as we age, whether that's continuing to receive mammograms, continuing to see their primary care physician, continuing to advocate for changes in any kind of stomach issues or any kind of changes in their skin. We encourage our seniors to talk to their primary cares about any changes that they identify. So just because we are starting to notice things differently, we want to bring those up and talk to our physicians about those.
And I think that's important that you're putting the responsibility on us, because hopefully everybody has an annual physical and hopefully maybe twice a year. But when you go in, you know, your doctors, they're on a schedule. Everybody's busy. There's a shortage of doctors. And you know what? You need to take a look yourself. And if something is different with you, your doctor's not a mind reader. You're right. You need to let your doctors know what differences you're seeing.
It's helpful to write those things down.
I agree.
Right? Sometimes it's important that we notice something or we see something different, but we might not have a doctor's appointment for several weeks. Go ahead and write those things down and go into your office visit with a list of things to talk to your physician about. And I think those will just either set your mind at ease,
right,
or can open a discussion with your provider about what we might need to be, some additional testing that we might need to take and do.
You said something when we were talking off camera about cancer diagnosis and how different it is now. And I'll share that with our audience.
Right. So we were talking before about how we all remember a time where a cancer diagnosis almost felt like a death sentence, that there weren't good treatment options, or either it was diagnosed very late or where it had spread from its original site. But we very much believe that cancer diagnoses today are not a death sentence. They're something that we can treat, it's a diagnosis that we can science continues to evolve, and there are more wonderful treatment options. They're not as toxic. We have learned how to manage side effects. We've learned how to prevent some of those very, very bad side effects that are often associated with chemotherapy. There are lots of new medications that actually are not chemotherapy, where you go to a cancer center and sit in a chair and get an IV infusion. A lot of medications are actually administered at home, whether that's a tablet or a capsule that you might take at home every day, instead of going to a cancer center where you might need to be with a nurse and an IV. So I think there are a lot of different options and a lot of different paths that people can take in their cancer treatment that make it a long-term management of cancer diagnoses rather than just a terminal diagnosis.
And that's so nice to know. And it used to be that it was just a horrible diagnosis and it was all over. There were no treatments, so the treatments where you were sick all the time. That's not even true anymore.
Right.
You know, I have some friends who have gone through things and that basically were never nauseated. So I think that it's so important for our seniors, don't function from fear.
Correct.
Don't not attack it because you're afraid. And I also would like to say, because my family has had treatment at the Montgomery Cancer Center, and you know, again, we have what you need here. And even, tell me again, because I love the way you work with other places.
Absolutely.
Too.
Absolutely. So there are national standards about how cancer is treated. And so we follow those same national standards here at Montgomery Cancer Center. That allows us to work with different cancer centers around the country, whether that's Emory, UAB, MD Anderson. We follow the same guidelines that they do. And it's very important that seniors take and go where they feel like they need to go, but always know that we're here at Montgomery Cancer Center to help them and to be a part of that story, whether it's administering treatments locally based on advice from a physician from MD Anderson or Emory or UAB, or a special surgeon at UAB that you might need. Know that Montgomery Cancer Center can help you continue your journey locally so that you can be at home. You can continue to be involved with your church and your family and have that support system. So know that we're here to be a part in any way that you need us to be.
Well, I think the takeaway from that is that it's a beautiful partnership that Montgomery Cancer Center has. We just appreciate you so much, Susan, and thank you so much for being with us. We're going to come back next week and talk about some preventative measures, and we have thoroughly enjoyed it. And folks, go see your doctor, and we'll be right back.